If you love to journal and you're new to commonplacing, I'm going to show you some wonderful quotes that help me get through tough days. Hi friends, I'm Ashley. Welcome to Darling Cottage Diary. I haven't done a Commonplace book update in so long. I have gone through, I think, 2 or 3 waste books and tabbed and annotated 3 different books in this time. I think it was last May that I updated this poor thing. So I thought I would do that today, inspired by a very, very sweet happy mail sent to me by a subscriber. I swear I have the kindest, most wonderful people who follow my channel. Like, y'all are amazing, and I love you, and thank you for being here. And y'all keep me going. And if you don't know what a commonplace book or a waste book is, I'll be using both those terms. I'll link the video explaining the setup and what they are, the history of them, below in the description box below. But in short, a waste book is a book that you just scribble notes down in, you carry it with you all the time. And a commonplace book is kind of like a collection of thrifted items, but instead of items, it's quotes and information and things that you have learned that you want to keep separate somewhere that is not online, obviously, but it's like information you've learned or come across that you want to save for later and you want to return to. Some people say that you shouldn't add your own thoughts and feelings in this, that it should just be a place for like a compendium of your information that you like and that you've learned. I am not of that persuasion. I create margins and write my own thoughts in my margins, and then on the pages themselves have whatever information it is that I'm writing. I also like to include a bit of stickers, drawings, art journaling, artwork, photos. I like to include visual things in my commonplace book. Again, this is so preference. John Locke or Leonardo da Vinci commonplace book, you use that on a search and it will give you an idea of what these books are. They're really, really fun to do and a really good way to journal that is outside the realm of just trying to write about your day. It's fun. It's kind of creating a textbook of things you're interested in rather than writing a diary of your own days. So moving on, in my waste book, lately, obviously, I have been doodling a lot. I've found that doodling in the morning helps clear my head a little bit, and it makes me feel accomplished. It's like an instant rush of dopamine in the morning to say, hey, I finished something that looks pretty, or if I don't like it, I can, it gives me something to chew on as I'm waking up, and it's nice to do either like while I'm drinking tea in the morning before I leave for work, or, while I'm looking through my planner and what I need to do at work and just kind of doodling while I'm planning everything out. Both of these things are very nice. So anyway, I thought I would include this in with a collection of quotes that I've kept in my waste book and also have tabbed in books that I've been reading lately. I study a lot of books at once. I usually have one fiction book I'm reading at any given time, or a biography, autobiography, what have you, along with I love to study ancient texts. I have some quotes from Meditations by Marcus Aurelius and the Havamal, as well as I'm reading a biography about Claude Monet, and I have one of his quotes here too. So the theme of today's quotes that I wanted to put all on kind of the same pages is quotes that help me get through worry and difficult days, more of the existential worry days. I feel like I received the most wonderful little Happy Mail parcel from a subscriber this week, and don't worry, I'll be sending you back. I wrote a letter, and I'm sending everything back. If that was you, you know who you are, Trisha. And I was so touched, and your letter almost made me start crying. And just you're so kind. But something that really struck me was you mentioned multiple times how AI was a thing that you're worrying about, as well as just other things happening in the world. And I really resonated with that because I have similar worries, and I have, it's easy to get lost in that. That's part of why I am not currently on any other social media platform but YouTube right now. I've got my website, darlingcottagediary.com, and my YouTube channel, and I've even paused my Patreon right now. Thank you to those of you who have reached out. I won't leave the platform. So many people say, please don't leave. I won't leave. I was able to get a hold of them, and I think the issues I'm having will be resolved. So it's just paused right now because I have needed a little mental break. But anyway, it spoke to me so much. And I think a lot of people, especially artists, we spend a lot of time in our heads, right? We think about things, we visualize things. And I also feel like we're very emotional people, whether in ourselves or, it's easy to feel the emotions of others, kind of bleeds over into us. And it's easy to fall into despair sometimes. And I would never want that for anyone. And so I thought I'd share these quotes that I say to myself whenever the big sad tries to grab me and bite me. And the first one, the first page, the left-sided page, is about, that's more of like the ancient wisdom, and it's more about just everyday worries. And I've said these to myself a lot. And the first one is, no one can implicate me in ugliness. And Marcus Aurelius wrote that in Meditations. It's in the very first stanza that he wrote. And if you've ever read that, it is a tonic for many a modern time. But then you realize this was written 2,000 years ago, and these are not modern problems. Humans have been worrywart our whole existence. That's why we have survived as long as we have. We think about things, and we try to anticipate danger, and we try to, our fear and our anxiety are helpers. They're not trying to hurt us, they're trying to protect us. And if we can remember that, it's easier to put boundaries up, both with ourselves and with others. But also, I think it helps us stay grounded in that our brain is going to go to the worst possible thing that could happen, so that we can try to prepare and keep ourselves alive. And that's a really cool adaptation that humans have. And what he talks about is, in that first stanza, is just know that, and I'm paraphrasing in modern language, but just know that people are going to be difficult and disagreeable with you when you walk out the door. Just accept that and let it roll off your back. But that specific quote of, no one can implicate me in ugliness, it really reminds me of things that my mom used to say to me. I don't know if it's like this where you are, you'll have to tell me in the comments, but the word ugly was never used to describe the physical aesthetic of anything or anyone. It was always an action of like, stop being ugly to your sister, or say, oh, you don't, oh, she was being so ugly, you don't want to be like that. It's a very, it is an action to be ugly. And it's something that you can change as well. It's not something that is inherent to you or anyone else. You choose to be beautiful or ugly on the inside. And the fact that Marcus Aurelius, 2,000 years ago, leader of the Roman people, said that it's cool. It's an interesting through line of, has time really passed at all? So that's one that I love. And then the next one is the 7th stanza of the Havamal, which is kind of if you've ever read the Poetic Edda, it's the Norse sagas, the ancient Norse sagas, and it's this section where Odin is just kind of giving you life advice. And it represents a lot of the hardness of the kind of life that those people lived, but it also represents how they got through it and how it's very pragmatic. There are no lofty ideals in it, but there's hope and there's beauty and it's hopeful, beautiful pragmatism, and that's something that I appreciate. And he said, a man is happy if he finds praise and friendship within himself. You can never be sure of where you stand in someone else's heart. And not that you don't want to have community, you do. And obviously this is taken out of context, but it's really important to understand how you feel about who you are and how you present yourself to the world, and that you're not adding to that ugliness that can sometimes feel like is the world. And so it's just a reminder of, you do you. And if you are acting how you want others to act, then that's, you're being the good person that you want other people to be. You're setting the example, and it's a very stoic ideal, but it's also, I appreciate it. It's a good reminder. And then a little further later, he says, a noble man should be silent, thoughtful, and bold in battle, but every man should also be cheerful and happy till the day of his inevitable death. And that seems quite final. But I also appreciate the fact that he's talking about none of us get out of life alive, and it's a good reminder. And you can be silent and stoic and strong through the battles of life, but then don't forget the cheerfulness and don't forget to enjoy it. Don't let your worries consume you to the point where you're not enjoying the people you love, and you're not enjoying the birds in the trees, and you're not enjoying this really, really good piece of chocolate. So it's a reminder to enjoy the small things. And the last one out of the Havamal is, a fool stays awake all night worrying about everything. He's fatigued when the morning comes and his problems remain unsolved. That one field dressed me down to the bone when I read it the first time, and I've repeated it to myself many times because I sleep much better since I had kids, because if any of you have ever become parents, you learn to sleep or you're just not going to survive. But before that, I had really bad insomnia, and there was something about becoming a parent and the day-to-day and the inevitability of just the broadening of understanding what comes with legacy and what comes with raising children. Like, I was able to put those worries that would always keep me awake to bed for that reason of, like, I can't do anything about it right now. I am going to sleep. I'm going to think about something that makes me happy, relaxing. I'm going to replay a movie in my head, like a comfort movie in my head, so that I can fall asleep. Because that's how, that's what will help me drift off, because I can't do anything about the things I'm worried about. Sometimes I'll write a list, and that helps a lot of, like, I've got this to do tomorrow, I got this, and I got this, and I got this. I'll wake myself up and put it in my phone app, or like my notes app, or I will write a list next to my bed. It's there in the morning. I won't forget it because I wrote it down. Now I can put it out of my head and go to sleep. And it's just a reminder that if you don't get rest, you're not going to be your best in the morning, and those worries that are keeping you up are going to be worse, actually, because you're not going to be at your best to tackle the day. And so that's one that always, that one's helped me a lot to let go of worries, particularly at night. And then on the right-handed page, we have our lovely young Marie Antoinette, and this one I wanted to be, these I wanted to be a little bit more whimsical, because the left side was very stoic and masculine, like, but you know, we all have balance, and I get up and tackle the day just like anybody does, and I wanted to have a more whimsical side too. And so on the right side I have by Claude Monet. He said, "I have no other wish than to mingle more closely with nature." And that is a reminder to spend time outside. Take your shoes off when you get home from work. Go walk around in the grass for 10 minutes. I have a habit of hanging up my laundry from my, I have like a clothesline in my backyard. I hang up my laundry that I washed the day before, barefoot, in my work clothes. Sometimes I change into home clothes, but I have to take my shoes off and get my feet in the grass, and then I'll usually sit outside for a few minutes after I'm finished with that and watch the silly squirrels fight in the trees, and watch my dog and watch my kids play. And that helps break the day between the stresses of work and the things that I need to do at home, and it gives a pause. And there is a lot of good science about grounding and how it's really important for your bare skin to touch the earth. So whether you are on board with the hippie stuff or not, the hipster stuff or not, it helps. You don't even have to understand that. Just being outside will help. And then the last quote I have is from this beautiful book that I have quoted before, Inventeur Vagabond du Bonheur. And it said, "Le démon de l'utilité s'avère peur devant la splendeur silencieuse de la rose." And that means the demon of utility evaporates before the quiet splendor of the rose. And that one helps me with my AI worries. It helps me with my, like, corporations are taking over the world worries. It helps me with all these things that I've just, like, when I feel out of control about money or those kinds of things. That one helps because it's saying that as useful as something can be, if it's not, like, we will always bow to beauty as humans. We love beauty. It's transcendent. It is divine, and beauty helps give meaning to our lives, and something can be useful. You just need a hammer sometimes. But you know what? I'm going to get the pink-handled hammer. Sometimes you just really need to eat. But you know what? I'm going to go to the cafe that has the prettier sign. It's a reminder that beauty matters, and it doesn't matter how much that utility is shoved at us, that, you know, these entities, these corporate entities are trying to, like, force things on us that we don't necessarily want or that will make our lives better. When it comes down to it, humans create beauty and nothing else. Humans and nature create beauty. It can be imitated, but it can never be reproduced. And that is something I find so beyond comforting in these times. So I realize I talked a lot. I realized that I'm, like, just going at it. I had some things to say today. I would love to hear quotes that help you. I know I've done, like, quote kind of videos before, but feel free to leave any in the comments below. Let me know if you have started a Commonplace book and if you do this practice. I still feel like I'm not quite doing it right. But that's what's great about personal journals, is nobody's going to be grading it. It's not like you have to do, you know, notes and turn it in and get it's not a school project. This is specifically for you and what you want, and it's really fun to have for yourself, to work things out and to categorize things. So let me know if you do that. All right, friends, I will pipe down for the rest of the video, and as usual, if you are more of the quiet ASMR crowd, this video as well as the last one and probably the next one or two will all be combined into a very long, quiet ASMR video in the coming weeks. If you would like to support what I'm doing, feel free to like and subscribe, as well as find my offerings in my journal kits on darlingcottagediary.com. I am working on some very secret projects that I hope to be sharing in the next the next few weeks on there. And I hope you have a wonderful week, and that anything that's been getting to you, I hope these quotes helped. They helped me a lot, and it's easy to get bogged down and feeling like our modern problems only ever have happened this one time, and it's not true. Humans have been dealing with this kind of stuff for a really long time in different forms, and we just look to the ancestors. The ancestors have told us what to do and how to help. They're here to help us. So thank you all for being here, and I post videos every Sunday. I hope you have a great week, friends. Thank you. Bye.